What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet, and I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So not too long ago, I made a video talking about Jodie Turner-Smith filing for divorce from her white husband, Joshua Jackson, and I made the comment that she was upheld by a lot of divestors out there. So a lot of black females who are obsessed with white men and a lot of black females who claim hashtag divestment kind of put her and that relationship up on a pedestal. And now that it's fallen apart, I was wondering what they would have to say about it. And the funny thing that I saw were there's some divestors out there who are trying to excommunicate Jodie Turner-Smith at this point. I just ran across a video, I guess because of mine, it came across my algorithm, and it was called Jodie Turner-Smith is not a divester. And this channel is called the Divested Puppet. So it's actually a black female puppet who is married to a white male puppet, which is hilarious, by the way. At first, I thought this site or this channel was like a parody of Divestors, but I think it actually is a real divestor. They have just chosen to use a puppet as their avatar for the channel. And just a way to, I guess, to be more original and try to get more attention, which I guess it works. It's more entertaining, I guess. But I was laughing at it. The video that this puppet made was actually pretty entertaining, talking about Jodie Turner-Smith. But I have to disagree with the whole idea and the whole theme of the video, saying that she's not a divester. Okay, I can't really let you divestors get away with that one. I know you folks like to, both the divestors and black males in the manosphere like to play games like this where when certain relationships go bad that they have upheld as something special within their movement, they try to distance themselves quickly and as expeditiously as possible from those relationships. So when a divestment relationship goes bad, they try their best to make it seem, well, this person was never a divester in the first place. Like I remember they did that with Halle Berry, saying that, technically Halle Berry is not a divester, right? Making it seem as if, because she's, half white, that doesn't count as a divester. And I had to remind them that, well, then you should never have put Halle Berry up on a pedestal when she got with these white men. You see what I'm saying? Like you can't uphold these people and use them as an avatar and try to live vicariously through them. And then when their relationships go bad, you try to run for the hills. You see, you can't do that. Okay, that's not how we're going to play this game. At least I'm not going to let you play it that way. I'm always going to throw it back in your face and make sure that I know that you were the one upholding that. Okay, they did the same thing with Meghan Markle. A lot of black female divestors and swirlers have been upholding Meghan Markle across the globe. Okay, so when that relationship goes bad, I don't want to hear any nonsense about that either. I already know what's coming though, because Meghan Markle is barely black. She never even claimed to be black, but a lot of these divestors uphold her as a standard bearer for a divested / leveling up type relationship. Likewise with Jodie Turner-Smith, they were really celebrating this relationship because Jodie Turner-Smith is a dark-skinned black woman. Okay, so she's a dark-skinned black woman who was a celebrity, and she got married to a white male and had his children. So they were really, really uplifting her. And I remember that. I remember when they first got together, so many black females who, celebrate the divestment movement were praising that relationship. They would even ignore a lot of the red flags, like, the fact that Jodie Turner-Smith proposed to him or the fact that he would have her out there booty butt naked and acting a fool, out in public. But now it seems like all that stuff is being brought back up, and brought back up in a negative way now that that relationship has kind of gone kaput. Because this divested puppet is out here, she was going in on Jodie Turner-Smith, and I was laughing. Like she really didn't go so much into Joshua Jackson other than to accuse him of being a homosexual. And apparently within the divestment movement, they say it's a no-no for you to date a liberal white male. So, because they accuse most of them of being homosexual. So, get yourself a conservative white male, I guess. Get your openly racist white male instead of the one that's on the down low, right? So, the divested puppet and all of her acolytes were talking about, she should never have gotten with this liberal white male. That was a big mistake. And she should never have gotten down on her knees to propose to him. That was a red flag. So now they acknowledge that was a red flag. Now before it was, at least he made her a wife, right? So, because I remember I told you that when the news broke that they had divorced, all the divestors showed up and said, well, at least they got married and he made her a wife. But now they're realizing how ridiculous it is for a female to propose to this man, especially a black female proposing to a white man like that, because it makes her look desperate. And it's been reported that when Jodie Turner-Smith first met Joshua Jackson, she gave up the draws that night. Like she didn't waste any time, right? She went to trying to throw in that dark skinned coochie on him immediately, on his little wang dang doodle cocktail shrimp, right? So she was very much, like I said, obsessed with him. I said that in the last video. It was obvious by the way that they were acting that she was obsessed with him. He didn't really have any type of real love or appreciation for her other than, that was his little dark-skinned freak to get off with, behind closed doors. But once again, these divestors, they always want to separate themselves from these types of people when the relationship goes bad. I noticed the same thing with the manosphere. They do the same thing with and Passport Bros. Remember when that dude Austin Hollerman got kicked out of Brazil for being a big old simp and being ridiculous and being a buffoon over there making these dumb videos about being a passport bro and messing around with the women there? When he got kicked out of Brazil, I saw Negroes in the passport bro movement saying he's not a passport bro, or they don't endorse him. It's like, okay, so when stuff goes left and you get embarrassed, now you want to try to kick that person out of your movement, but it's too late now, Negro. You can't do that. I've seen some Negroes try to separate themselves from Andrew Tate now that he's been accused of sex trafficking, right? But I was like, once again, you can't do that. You can't praise a person one day and put them as the leader of your movement, and then when things go bad, now you want to try to pretend that you never were down with them, right? It's different if you were criticizing them before, but if you were praising this person before and putting them on a pedestal and using them as, like I said, as an avatar or someone to live vicariously through, and praising them as like the head of your movement, when things go bad, you got to kind of ride the wave, or I should say, ride the elevator down with them. So when the building comes crumbling down, and the civilization that you've created or the fantasy you've created comes crumbling down, you have to kind of crumble with it. But that's pretty typical from both divestors and manosphere folks, because there really is no loyalty to one another. For the most part, their movements are based on loyalty to white folks and not, loyalty even within their own movement. It's all about being selfish anyway. It's all about being very hedonistic anyway. So at the first sign of trouble, they're going to, dip out on one another. There's no solidarity between them, right? That's why they always beef amongst each other. I've talked about divestors having like civil wars between one another. Likewise, excuse me, like I've even seen on this Divested Puppet channel, she's been going in on other black female content creators that are in the divestment movement, which is hilarious, right? Manosphere guys do the same thing. They always attack each other and go in on one another. So there is no solidarity or no honor amongst thieves and traitors. If they're going to betray the black community anyway with a lot of their nonsense, of course they're going to betray each other at some point in time. So, I mean, you folks can let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. Once again, I can't really, while the Divested Puppet was very funny, I can't really give her any credit because she's against black love, so I can't really support her in a case like this. But I will say it was very entertaining to see that, right? And I feel like a puppet is very appropriate when it comes to being a divester, because you're really being a divester or a swirler is basically just being a puppet for white supremacy anyway. So it's highly appropriate that they chose a puppet to be their avatar. You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments section, and I'll post a link to the Divested Puppet video so you can see what I was talking about. Anyway, folks, this is Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.